We're going to be talking about MLA citations as well as paper format and then some of the research tools that you have available to you. So I want to remind you that there are three types of citation and style and formatting that you might be seeing in your classes here or also when you go to college or university. So we have MLA, which is the Modern Language Association. This is most often used with liberal arts and humanities. This is what we're going to be using in here. There are also two other major citation systems, which is APA, used most often with social sciences, and the Chicago Manual of Style. You might also hear this referred to as Turabian, and Chicago Turabian is usually used with history papers. I want to go over a couple of the major things for MLA format. So some of the big things, you want to make sure that you double space your paper. Every part of it should be double spaced. You want to use 12-point font. You want to use a legible font, so nothing fancy, just Times New Roman, whatever the general default font is, that's what you should use. Margins are always 1 inch, and then you always want to make sure that you have an MLA header, and that is going to be your last name plus the page number, and you should have that at the top of every page. Excuse me, usually you have a heading on the very first page of your MLA formatted paper that is 4 lines long. This is also double spaced, this heading. So please make sure that you double space even the heading. I know that feels strange, but that's how it should be set up. So that heading is going to have your name, it's going to have your instructor's name, it's going to have the name of the class, and then it's also going to have the date. When you go to title your paper, you should just hit enter and go straight to the next line, and the title should be centered. It shouldn't be in a larger font, it shouldn't be underlined, it shouldn't be italicized, it shouldn't be bold, it is just centered on its own line. That's how you designate that it's the title. Once you have done that, then you hit enter again for your double space, and then you just start writing your paper. I'm going to take a moment and I want to show you what an MLA paper looks like and what that looks like when you set it up. So what you can see here as we go to that, this is an MLA sample paper, and I want to draw your attention to the URL right here as well, the OWL at Purdue University. The OWL stands for Online Writing Lab. This is going to be a really great source for you for all of your MLA formatting needs. So this is an MLA sample paper. And you can see right here the header that I was talking about with the last name and the page number. You can see the heading right here with the student's name, with the instructor's name, class name, date. You can see right here this is the this is the title, and this is where we want to. This is how we want to make sure that we set up our paper. So we're going to go back to our PowerPoint. When you're doing citations for MLA, it's going to be on a separate page if you're having a specific works cited page. And so this is what your works cited page would look like. It would be on its own page. It would have works cited at the top as the title, again, just centered, not in a larger font, not bold, not formatted in any way. The things I want to remind you about MLA citations is that they are also double spaced. Your citation should also be double spaced. They also use what's called a reverse indent. And so with that, you have the first line that's lined up with the margin, and all of the subsequent lines are indented. That's different than what you would see with a paragraph. It's in fact the opposite, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. This is the information that you need for all citations that you are coming up with. I'm going to spend a couple minutes, just not very long, kind of going through what citations look like. But you should, if you're using the research tools that you have available to you, you shouldn't really ever have to create your own citations. You should be able to find them in the sources that you are using. So I will show that to you in just a minute. What you're seeing on the screen right now is information that you need for all citations. Whether they are hard copy citations or whether they're electronic citations, doesn't matter. So this is all the information you need. this is the format that you would use. So again, you can see all of that information there, and the order in which you should list it, and the punctuation that you should use, and all of that kind of good stuff. Again, if you're using the research tools that I'm going to show you today, you shouldn't ever need to create your own citation. I want to take a moment and again show you the sample paper on the OWL at Purdue. So we just looked at the title page. I'm going to scroll us to the bottom, and I'm going to show you the works cited page so you can see some of the things that I was mentioning about the citations. So you can see it's the works cited is on its own page. You can see here's the first citation, and here's what I mean about the reverse indentation. You can see that this first line is out here, it's all the way out at the margin, and all the subsequent lines are indented. This is what you want to make sure that you do. The other thing I want to draw your attention to is that the sources are alphabetized, and so you should also do that. And they're alphabetized by the first letter of the citation. Usually, not always, but usually that's going to be the first letter of the person's last name, but you can see here in the source that I have highlighted for you right now, this is actually a source that doesn't have a listed author. And so in that case, we alphabetize by the first letter of the citation itself. So again, the OWL at Purdue, this is a really, really great resource for you as you are doing your citations. So I want to take just a second and show you these slides. I'm not going to read them to you. You have access to this through our course page, through Teams. This is how you set up citations when you are using online sources or when you're using online databases. Things to remember: reverse indentations for all sources. All sources should be double spaced, and you should alphabetize by the first letter of the citation. So those are the big things that you need to know as far as formatting your paper in MLA format, as well as creating citations that are in MLA format. The next thing I want to talk about is how to use the Florida Pass. This is the research database that you have access to. And so today, before I leave, I will ensure that you have been entered into the Florida Pass database. If you have completed your assignment and you have returned that form to me filled out through Teams, I will enter you and you'll get an email from Florida Pass that will walk you through creating your account. I'm going to show you in just a moment how to use Florida Pass and what that looks like. So let's go ahead and head there. So this is Florida Pass. So you'll see right here, Florida Pass, FLA-PASS.org. And so what you'll do is you'll click that, access that. Here are the databases. As it says on the presentation, all of these are available to you. Some of them are going to be more helpful than others. I find Academic One File to be the most helpful. You'll notice I clicked on that. It's going to hopefully take me straight there. It's because I've already logged in. When you click on that the first time, it will ask you to log in. So you'll need to have created your account before you do that. So if we are searching for The Winter's Tale, we'll just enter that. You'll see here, as it comes up, here are, almost 1,500 academic journal articles about The Winter's Tale. And so what I want to do is click on this, and I'm going to show you what this looks like when you access these articles and these critical essays online. So you can see here's all the text of it. This is a very long one. If you read all 10,000 words of this and you decide, great, this is what I would like to, I'd like to use this in my research, and you're going to cite it, all the way at the bottom of each of these, you will see right here, this is your citation. And you can see we're in MLA 8th edition. So all you would need to do is simply copy this and then paste it onto your Word document, and your citation is done for you. I do want to remind you that sometimes when you copy and paste, you lose the formatting, and so you'll need to ensure that it still has the reverse indentation. The other thing it loses are the italics a lot of times, so you'll need to make sure that you go back and check that it has the italics. And then, for example, if you were doing this for another class that wanted the APA, you could click that. Look, there it is cited in APA. Here it is cited in the Chicago Tribune. So of course we're using MLA, that's what you want to use. So that is our very quick overview of the Florida Pass. Next, There are two other resources that I want to talk about really quickly, and one is JSTOR and the other is Google Scholar. So JSTOR, you will need to create your own free username and password. I find JSTOR to be one of the best sources for this kind of research for your English or literature class. This is one of the largest databases. It's expensive, which is why we are not allowed, or we don't have access through school, because honestly they can't afford it. So, but you do have access to JSTOR using a free account. I'll show you how that works in just a moment. And then I'm also going to show you Google Scholar. So those are our three resources: Florida Pass, JSTOR, and Google Scholar. So let me show you what JSTOR looks like. So you can see here, I've already logged in. And again, it's a free account. All you have to do is create a username and password. I've had this account for years. They don't send you tons of emails or anything like that. They're not, spamming your inbox or anything like that. So we're going to search for The Winter's Tale. And you can see here, we have a ton of different sources that are available to us in The Winter's Tale. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. So you can see that because I have my free account, that I can download this PDF, that I can look at it that way. I'm not going to be able to print it, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. Excuse me. So you should still be able to use all of this. You should be able to download this. You should be able to see it. And you should be able to cite it as well. You can see that over here, cite this item. And so again, we have MLA, APA, and Chicago. So you can very easily copy that and move that out. So that's JSTOR. One of the other reasons it's very helpful to have a JSTOR account is because here is our final resource that we're going to look at. So we're going to look at The Winter's Tale here in Google Scholar. And so there are a couple things I want to say about Google Scholar. So first of all, it's free to use, but some of the searches that come up are going to be paywalled, right? Like, you're not going to be able to access them because they're in databases that we don't pay for. However, one of the things that you should note right here is that if you've made a free JSTOR account, look, this one is available through JSTOR, available through JSTOR, through JSTOR, through JSTOR, through JSTOR. So you can see all of that happening right there. So if you have the free JSTOR account, you will be able to access these. The other thing I want to show you about Google Scholar is if you look over here on the margin, anytime it says PDF like that over here on the margin, that means that this is a free PDF that you can just click on and have immediate access to. So here you can see this is a journal article right here that you are just able to get straight to and just be able to access and have. So those were the big things that I wanted to go over with you guys today as far as our research tools are concerned. If you have any questions about citations or about how to use these research tools, please make sure that you send me an email or send me a message on Teams, and I will be happy to help you with any of that information or help you get access to any of those things. The last thing I want to show you really quickly is, again, this PowerPoint is on Teams if you feel like you've missed any of this. And if you access it, this actual first title page, this is a link to the site that I've been using, the OWL at Purdue that I showed you for the MLA citations and things like that. So again, please make sure that you have written down any questions that you have about either citations or our research tools, Florida Pass, JSTOR, or Google Scholar, and we can talk about those in class tomorrow. So thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I will see you in class tomorrow. Have a great day.